Hello, welcome guys. Welcome to our Watercolor Bear workshop. So a couple of things before we get started. You have your paper here with your bear already traced on it. If you have a little bit of masking tape, you want to tape down just the corners a little bit. So I'm just going to take a little, you do the corners, or you can do the top or the bottom. I'm just going to do the top. I shook the camera there a little bit. And the bottom. I'll need a little bit. And we're using masking tape because it will peel up off the paper without us having a lot of tearing. There we go. So got those on there. You're going to open up your watercolor palette. Open up here. I got all my colors on here. I have some water kind of set aside. And you should have a brush. Doesn't matter if you have the smaller brush. If you have a softer, a little bit bigger brush, you can use that as well. Totally up to you. But we're going to start first dipping our brush into some water and then activating the paint colors that we want before we get started. And activating, I mean, right now they're dry. We can't really paint with them. So I'm going to dip into my water. And I'm going to use some red today. And dip a little bit of red on there. Rinse my brush off. I think I want some green. Green. A little bit of blue. And a little bit of purple. I'm just putting a little bit of water on there. And you can use any colors you want for your background of your sky. It doesn't have to be the colors I'm using today. Today I'm going to do it to some pink, purple, blue, into like maybe even a little bit of green. I'm not totally sure if I'm gonna do the green or not, but I'm gonna put that little bit of water on there just so it's ready, and we're gonna get started. So we're gonna start first getting the top part of our bear wet. I already have my paper taped down. I'm gonna get my brush wet, and I'm just going to dip into the water, just like that. A little tap. Don't dry it off on the paper towel, just tap the edge of whatever water cup you have. And I'm going to start applying just some water, pushing out to the outside line here. There we go. And I'm just going to kind of smooth right on up here. And I'm going to stop right about where his legs are, and right the back of his butt. So I'm just gonna wet this top half. And we're just going to prime down this area. And the reason we wet this down is called the wet on wet technique when it comes to watercolor, is that it's going to help those colors blend. And even if you have little pools of water on there too, it's going to be good. It's going to create some cool effects. So we're going to wet that all on there. Wash my brush off. Now that we have our bear, the top half of our bear wet, just with clean water, we're going to start applying some paint. Now I'm going to go with my red color first. Now if you want to create more of a pink, scoop a little bit of red into your lid. And then I'm going to take some water and water that down. So I'm going to scoop water on down there. And you may have not noticed, you have 3 different little separation things on these lids, even for the paint. Not all of them do, some of them do. But if yours have those little separations, they're designed to kind of catch water, and that lid is a mixing plate. So something you may have never noticed before when you're doing like just regular watercolors before. So I just kind of water it down, and then I'm going to go right underneath here, and look, now we're making more of a pink instead of a bright red. If you want it to be a little more vibrant, then just grab some straight paint, go onto the water, and I'm just going right along. I don't want too much. I'm just doing just a nice little stripe. Washing my brush off, cleaning off. You always want to wash in between every color. And then I'm going to take next a little bit of purple. I'm just going to go right along the nose here. And I'm just going to go right with some purple. You can use the tip of your brush, kind of fill in, move that water around. And grab a little bit more purple, because I want to start getting a little bit darker as I get up here. brush, just kind of going right along here. As long as colors blend in. Remember, with these videos, you can always pause. Okay, so if you need a little bit more time, just pause it. Just kind of going in right around. A little bit of light purple up in here. Maybe a little bit more purple around here. And I'm just going to pull down just a little bit. Start pulling some of these colors down. Just to make sure it's kind of covered in. There we go. Wash my brush off, and next I'm going to get ready to use some blue. So I'm taking a little bit of my blue. Maybe I want to mix a little bit of blue and purple. You can scoop out a little bit of purple. Wash my brush off. And mix a little bit of blue. So I got kind of a blue purple here. I'm just going to dab. And you'll notice I am just kind of dabbing and letting that paint rest on there. Dab, dab, dab. And what I'm not doing is I'm not going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth really hard with my brush. When you're working on watercolors, you just want it to sort of naturally sit on there. The paper will keep it from running everywhere. It's only going to flow into colors that are wet. So because this top part of my paper is dry, it kind of works as a nice little barrier. A barrier, get it? A nice barrier of containing your paint. You can take a little more purple in here and lay down a little purple. And I'm just going to dab. And just slowly work our way across. I also want to keep it a little bit lighter color where the tree line is going to be. So if you do too dark a color, it's going to be a little bit hard to see the trees. So purple. I'm just going to just a little bit. I like that blue color, it's really nice. You can always back and add a little purple on top of some of your blue too. So I'm going to take and add a little more water in there to make it nice in there. Try to wrap up. Now I'm just going to dab a little bit of purple onto some of that blue, just creating that dimension. Different colors. Maybe I do want a little bit of green at the top, so I'm going to take a little green and a little bit of blue. I'm just going to add, oh yeah, that's nice. And just at the very top. I'm just dabbing. Actually kind of looks like some northern lights in there. No more bedding bubbles, they'll pop as it starts drying. And I'm going to leave it there. So if there are areas you want more colors with too, you can always come back with watercolor dry as it works its way through. Just popping some of those little bubbles so they're not so distracting for you. You can use your finger too to kind of dab on what creates kind of a cool effect. Next, we're going to get ready to start our trees. I'm going to add a little bit of water to my black paint. If your area, your first painted area here is really wet, see how mine is dry to the touch already? Because I haven't really messed with it. You want to make sure that this is all the way dry to the touch where your tree line is going to be. So if you need a minute for it to dry, just hit the pause button let it dry. I added some water to my black paint. I'm going to take a little bit of the black paint and we're going to get ready to start some trees. So when I want to start a tree, and all of this is going to be black down here, we're just doing the tree top. So this is just a tree line that's going to zigzag up. If you want more sky and less tree line, you can paint down some more colors, but I want it to be all black at the bottom and just kind of have some tops of trees. So I'm just going to pull straight up. Just do a little line there. Just a loop. And I'm just going to lightly just go back and forth with my brush just like that. Okay. And maybe I should paint a little bit more color. I'm going to do a little bit more color down here just in case. So that way it is completely, I don't have to worry about any white paper showing through. So if you feel like you don't have enough, just take some time, go back. Maybe I want to actually add a little bit of yellow. This looks like it's kind of yellow and orange. A little bit of red. I'll just end up another. Let's turn into a full rainbow bear here. So I'm just gonna go around that little guy. Just gonna go on right on up. So maybe you decided you want a whole rainbow bear. That's the thing about art. It's just gonna kind of change. Just gonna go with it. I'm gonna dry this real quick and then we will get back to it. All right, so our trees, you're gonna take again a little bit of black paint. I already added some water to that earlier. And I'm just gonna draw, I'll start one side, I'm just gonna draw a line right on up. And I'm just going to lightly just dab each side, going back and forth. And just pull a little bit of those branches out. So again, I'm just gonna lightly just go back and forth. Lay down. All this is gonna be black down here. Maybe that one's a little bit taller. Just lightly go 1, 2. I'm just gonna start pulling some of those guys. And then as you go further down, you can just dab like this back and forth, or you can just even swipe it back and forth. Add a little more black paint where you want it to be a little bit darker. And some of them will blur in and blend in. Some will be a little more dominant. And they're all just going to kind of fade into each other. I'm just doing this top portion here. Because we're going to paint the whole bottom part with the blacks. So again, take more of your black. Some will be shorter, some will be longer. There you go. Whoop. Nice. A couple little dashes here. Just down a little further. Just really subtle, nice and easy, not overworking it too much. The water can just pool on there. You can even just do a few lines, like there's some really distant trees back there. Your bear, your design. If you don't want the trees and you just want the different colors, you can create that as well. Like, I want you to be creative, embrace it. Everybody's gonna be different. I think we like to really overthink trees sometimes. We think they should be really difficult. when I'm just doing that nice little line, I'm not pushing on my brush hard at all. I'm just boop, 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 and then they can go a little bit far. Now I got the tree line on, I'm going to start painting in his feet. I'm going to take a little black. I think I might even add a little blue on there later, we'll see. I'm just going to go and start painting it in. If you want it super dark too, you might have to let it dry and then come back. These blacks aren't always the darkest, they're a little more on the gray side or brown. There we go, just adding those in. Like I said, I think I'm going to take a little bit of blue and a little black. Ooh, yeah, I like that. I'm just going to paint this in. Dab in. Blue, blending it right up against some of that black. Excited to see all you guys' finished paintings. Lots of creativity gonna be happening. When I have my watercolor, I like it to have some of those little bit lighter spots, the dark. That's a really cool stone in there. I take my brush and just lightly dab with the tip up here, just going to kind of like a ground line. And that's it, guys. Try to let this dry. If you get a little bit of watercolor onto your paper too, be creative, sign it there. Like I did a little bit of watercolor right here. I'm just going to add my signature there, okay? But great job. Thanks for painting with me today, and I can't wait to see your guys' bears.